Friday. It's the Whiskey Tribe Quarterly Challenge. Do you like whiskey? Are you drunk on a Tuesday and not in college? It's time for a dry week. Yeah, you heard right. It's 7 days of fucking sobriety, baby. Save your brain, liver, skin, bones, intestines, heart, immune system, and grasp on reality. It's almost like whiskey's bad for you or something.
Ha! I'm a guy in the comments and I say the dry week is dumb because I can quit anytime I want.
Then do it with the rest of us and stop being a wimp. Don't let your habits rule you. Take control. November 12th through 19th. Dry week. Do it unless you're scared.
Or just do whatever you want.
Welcome to Whiskey Vault.
I'm Dan.
I am Rex. Where's the thing?
Well, we're gonna do this as a gift, but it was 2 people sent it, and I'm gonna magnificent bastard both of them.
Okay.
Even though I only brought 1 bottle. So first,
Ooh, a Blanton's.
yes, a gift from magnificent bastard Richard Amiro.
Richard Amaro, you magnificent
Bastard.
I know that guy.
And also a gift from magnificent bastard Mike Callahan.
Mike Callahan, you magnificent
Bastard.
Later, we're gonna get to a whole bunch of stuff that Mike donated, but this was all at the same time, so we're going with this.
Full disclosure about that bastarding. Mm-hmm. Right. Just full transparency. Mm-hmm. Richard works for us.
Yes, he does.
And he knows if he didn't give us gifts of Blanton's, he would be in serious risk of
In
losing
his annual review.
Right.
It's like, well, why didn't you send us any whiskey this year, Richard? So we've reviewed this before in 2017.
Yes.
But these are all Blanton's are single barrels, right? Now, so we're going to review it again. Because It's been a while and things have changed. It's been 4 years.
So single barrels
plus.
are different. We do single barrel exploration all the time.
Unfortunately, I don't have the one that we reviewed before because it's gone now. And we haven't had a Blanton's in the vault for like 1.5 years. So this is our replenishment of Blanton's now.
So.
You have a Blanton's in your office?
Well. I mean, they said this is for me. They said just the lovely MBs that came to the thing. They said, hey, we got a Blanton's. I was like, well, cool. The vault stuff. I was like, no. This is for you if you want it. So.
Well, we've got 2 now. So keep it.
Well, you don't tell me to keep it. I tell me
I'm
to
trying
keep
to ruin the love of mooching for you by giving you permission to mooch. It's like when your parents give you permission to disobey on something.
it. Right. I don't
It's not the same.
I don't like this.
All right, so just for a second, just sort of experience it, but don't talk about it yet. I'm going to do what we normally do.
Well, that's
normally people who Google things do. You ready? I'm going to read the blurb from the website.
Okay.
It's story time, children. In the winter of 1881, Albert Bacon Blanton was born into one of the first families of bourbon history.
What if they went with Bacon's?
I know, bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
At the age of 16, he started work in the distillery as an office boy and fast became a leading pioneer in the development of bourbon. From the time he was made company president in 1921 until his retirement in 1952, his distillery expanded from 44 to 144 buildings, becoming the largest distillery of the day. During that period, Colonel Blanton created a very special and limited supply of bourbon, his own private reserve, hand-picked and stored in what is now the famous Warehouse H. So in all the production, he'd be like, that one's mine, that one's mine, that one's mine, that one's mine. He'd move into Warehouse H.
Dibs.
Although he died in the spring of 1959, his legacy lives. In 1984, Blanton's namesake bourbon was the first single barrel sold commercially.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there were barrel picks and barrel, right?
Right, but
sold
commercially.
commercially that any Yahoo could walk into a store and buy.
Yeah. Which is a very, very fun part about whiskey.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That's a good, that write-up was well written.
So, on the nose.
Yeah.
Obviously a super classic bourbon.
Oh.
But there is a richness and a velvety character to that nose.
I was about to say, it's as if you took all of the barrel char and all of the botanicals and all of the corn dust and you just glazed everything with honey.
Yeah, honey, and there's like There's a. It's not quite astringent Earl Grey tea.
No, but there is an almost mint note in it. Like in the sense that it has that mint where it kind of lifts and feels cool.
Yeah.
So that like temperature-wise, feels cool when you smell it.
You know those strawberry hard candies with like the juicy insides? Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a little bit of that hard candy vibe. And then there's, whenever you draw in on the nose, you have, you know, all of the things that we're talking about, like the oakiness and the honey, and then right on the tail end of that nose, it's always just this little flash of vanilla.
I always like the taste of Blanton's because as much as the nose smells soft and dense and beautiful, the taste of Blanton's to me always has a lot more rough edges to it. And I actually kind of dig that. It doesn't just taste soft and bland and flat.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a spike in about 2 or 3 different directions.
Right.
So for me, it starts, there's a little spike of barrel pepper.
Yes.
Like, and then it immediately goes into like a botanical sharpness. And then all underlying that is a thread of honey that sort of just like ties it all, the journey together.
Yeah.
And then the finish has that dry wood tannin.
So to your point, there's like kind of it's like almost like it's throwing a little bit of elbows right at the beginning. Then everything after that just seems to taper off and become softer and more rounded off. Then by the time you get to the end, it's like, oh, this is
It's nice.
yeah, this is a pretty silky.
It is a dry finish though. Like right now, there's a dry wood tannin on my tongue.
See, I'm getting like a fruity finish. Yeah, yeah. Have you coffeed recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can feel the heat of that proof right now
What
in
is
my
it?
chest. It's not that high, actually. It's 46.5. So they're proofing down the barrel a bit.
Yeah.
So
The honey is really taking center stage for me. Every time I go back to it, it's more of the honey. That was on the nose, but that's the thing that's just holding on strong while everything else kind of just acclimates.
this is dumped on October 13th, 2020.
Yeah.
So last year. And barrel 469
I'm
on
getting-
Rick number 21.
I'm getting through this pretty quickly. I keep going
Yeah,
back.
you are, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This is bottle 15. Nice.
So, if you like bourbon, this is landing right in the middle of those beloved traditional bourbon flavors.
I feel like I could say about this that, like, there's certain bourbons that I wouldn't say they're worth like hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Right.
But there's certain bourbons that when they're on like the nice shelf, and you go to a bar, and it's not astronomical, but it's a little more for a
Right.
nice pour of that.
Yeah.
This belongs there.
Yeah.
I think it's in the right territory.
So, here's my perception of the Blanton's. Is it a good bourbon? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's something that is carrying a lot of weight for the hype, and that's the damn bottle.
Yeah, the bottle and the
Yeah.
and the
This
single barrel rarity of it, and the fact that it can change.
specifically, I'm focusing on the bottle design. This and the collectability with like the tops here. If this was a bad bourbon, then it wouldn't be as popular as it is now. It would. It requires that there be a good bourbon in here, and there is. There's a good bourbon in here. But I think for it to be as sought after, and in some cases hyped as it is, I think the bottle takes it into that territory.
Ironically, though, if it was a bad bourbon, the bottle would become a joke. So the very thing that takes it further would be its
Right.
downfall.
Yeah, yeah.
If the bourbon couldn't deliver.
Yeah. So this is good. The
You know what-
bottle escalates and enhances that goodness to where it becomes something that people's like, they see the shape on the shelf and they get really excited and it's like, oh, do I have that that horsey topper?
You know what
yet?
it reminds me of?
Yeah.
I remember, I've always been a huge fan of U2. And Bono on stage,
Wicker. That's the note. I
Yeah.
keep, like, there's something I'm missing. It was a wicker. Go ahead.
Bono on stage is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absurd, theatrical, and massive movements, and writing things on the bottom of his shoe and sticking it in the camera, and just crazy. One time I saw a video they did as a joke where it was him and the Edge standing in the studio, and they had dropped a bed sheet on a wall,
Right.
and they were playing Elevation, but Edge was playing it on banjo. Ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding 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 ding, and Edge is just super serious and he's playing it right, and then Bannock has a microphone and he's just like full Bono.
Right.
Right? Just
In
like
front of a bed sheet.
crawling on the ground.
Right.
He's crawling up the edge.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
holding on to him and singing it. Well, like it's a stadium of thousands. And I was like, that guy is such a dork.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it makes you love him, right?
Yeah.
If the music was bad and it was a joke, then
Right.
everything that makes Bono Bono
Right.
would be a running joke.
Right.
But because the music is great,
Yeah.
everything that makes Bono Bono on the rapping is actually pretty amazing. I think it's very similar. Like the bourbon has to deliver.
Yes.
But once it does, then it makes all of that cool.
I just see this shape and I want to yeet the bottle, just because it looks like a World War I hand grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The number shall be 3.
We have Father Fudgeface. Like that. Is anybody else a little perturbed by a habit Daniel has developed recently of winking at the camera while giving a double tongue click out the side of his face hole? I like how face holes become a thing. By the way.
Yeah, it really. Yeah.
Yeah. Even the audio checks.
Yeah.
Before we start shooting, Dan's listening and he's like, "I'm talking out of my face hole and it's going into your ear hole," and then that's basically the audio check. He did it again in today's episode. I think it's intended as some sort of non-verbal recommendation of a whiskey at hand, but it looks more like he's making sexual advances towards a stray cat. It's not a cat. It's
Stray
you.
cat.
It's you.
You're the stray cat.
You are the
cat daddy.
Oh God.
I like that one.
I gotta wipe off the cheese, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jake White.
No, I was using that. If you want to go back and look, every time that I'd already said something very clearly,
No, that's
and then
not
like later in the
true.
video,
That's just lies and slander.
Rex
Jake White, can
says
you
it again.
season a whiskey in the barrel like you would food? Like salt, pepper, Worcestershire sauce.
Oh.
Would it be considered a whiskey? That's
No.
an additive. You can't
Yeah, that's
really-
called rectifying.
right.
And you're doing additives into the whiskey, and no, you cannot do that. You could finish it in a barrel that used to hold those
Yeah,
things.
so-
It's considered finishing.
Right. No, there's a
It's
loophole.
effectively the same thing.
There is a loophole. If a barrel contains something, and then you empty out the barrel,
As
and then
if,
put the whiskey in.
if you created a barrel of secret spice blend,
Right.
of all the things you wanted in there, put it in a barrel with some alcohol and just to like season everything,
All right.
dump it, leave some residue behind,
Right.
fill it with a bourbon. It becomes bourbon finished in a secret something or other barrel.
Yeah. All kinds of shady up in here.
Mm.
With your winks and your advances and your cheese.
At least we got to drink Blanton's.
That was nice. Yeah. Just if you're in a squarely a bourbon mood and you're willing to pay the money, because this commands a premium in most places.
Yep.
It's a nice whiskey. Hell of a bottle, though. It makes the whiskey even nicer. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, fight for a friend.
May you steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.